Thank you for joining us. Welcome to another episode of The Gold Post. I'm your host, Oluwamayowa. I'm not alone. I have one of Lagos State, renowned analyst. He's joining the show for the very first time. Temiloluwa, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good and fine. Doing good and fine. Wonderful morning. How are you today?
Yeah, well, I'm good. A whole lot to discuss. I mean, there has been a whole lot, especially in in the Champions League. We saw, the controversy that surrounded the game between Benfica and Real Madrid, the racial slur that Vinicius Junior claimed. But that there are a whole lot of Champions League to also talk about. There is the case of Galatasaray going on to to beat to beat a to beat a Juventus side. Luciano Spalletti has not lost, and he finally he finally he finally got to lose a game after 5 games, tutoring Juventus side. But in any case, before we get into that, let's start from the home front. I mean, on the home front, there has been reports that Eric Chell is considering taking up the job of Olympic Marseille, and what that means is that the Super Eagles will be coachless at the moment. So, what do you think? Why do you think Eric Chell wants to dump the Nigerian Super Eagles side, owing to the fact that he experienced a whole lot of success in the last concluded Nations Cup? I mean, our team went from Osimhen FC to becoming one of the teams that score goals with reckless abandon. We scored in 5 games, except the last 2 games that we didn't score. And the news coming out that he wants to join Olympic Marseille. What do you make of that particular news?
Well, I see it as a step up for him. I see it as a step up for him. And one of the reasons why he took the Nigerian job is just to improve his profile, improve his CV. Because Nigeria is a very big nation. So the moment you're able to coach Nigeria, definitely it throws into the limelight. So I'm not surprised that Olympic Marcel are coming for him because he has also played in the League One, so he's familiar with the league. And considering the crisis in Marcel at the moment, there are a whole lot of names being thrown into the mix. But him being one of the names goes to show that he's doing a great job, despite the fact that Nigeria didn't win the AFCON. But then it just shows for a club like Olympic Marcel's pedigree to identify somebody like Eric and say, okay, this guy can take our club forward. Goes to show that he's a fantastic, fantastic manager. If given the right resources, he will do definitely well. And for Nigeria, well, it just takes us back to the drawing board because we'll have to start looking for its replacement, its successor. And that would actually take us a step back. For Eric, it is a very, very good thing for him to be drawn to club football. It's very, very hard for an African manager to be involved in European affairs. Let's be honest with ourselves. But for Eric to have been drawn to a club like Olympic Marseille means that he's doing wonderfully well. And for Nigeria, well, we've struggled lately to get a consistent manager, and I think we have one now that is gradually getting off our grasp, and hopefully the NFF can get us an able replacement.
Well, the question is this. I mean, if the NFF board came out, Gusau came out and said Eric Chell is contracted to Nigeria, and he has 1 year left on his contract. However, don't you think it's because there are some rancors going on between Eric Chell and the NFF? That's the reason why he wants to take the job. Also, remember that during the last concluded Nations Cup, the Super Eagles, there was when we were about to play the semi-final, they had to protest before the allowances were paid. And this is an NFF that has a record of owing people what they are due. Don't you think this is the reason why Eric Chair has decided to jump ship? And also, what does it say about our NFF in terms of locking down coaches? I mean, somebody who has a 1 year contract is willing to jump ship to Marseille. Does that not put the NFF in a bad light? And remember, it took the NFF 11 months to be able to hire an Excel after they've given us about 3-4 audio coaches before they circled back to Excel.
Okay, so well, what I'll just say is, for the fact that Nigeria has been owing, and for the fact that he has a chance at a club that will not owe him. So it is inevitable that we jump the ship. But it is just back to the drawing board for Nigeria, back to the drawing board for NFF. That's to show you how NFF has been run for a very long time. Imagine at the semi-final stage, the players wanted to protest for not payment of in this century. So Eric, seeing this chance, seeing this opportunity, I wouldn't. It is enough reason for him to jump ship, considering the fact that you don't even know if your next month's salary will be paid. You don't know if your allowances will be paid. It's a different thing for your salary to be paid. It's a different thing for your allowances to be paid. So I don't really think it is a it is a bad thing on Eric's side to jump ship, but it is a bad thing on NFF side to lose a coach like Eric, considering the fact that, like you said, we had a lot of audio coaches, a lot of debunking. We hired a coach said he wasn't the one we hired, all those back and forth and the likes, and it's just to show you the rottenness in the system. But hopefully, if with all of this Eric's drama, all of this Eric's rumor and news, hopefully the NFF will sit up and look into the system to ensure that every money is paid, every allowances is paid. And I'm sure if those allowances are paid, if everything is paid, I don't think Eric will want to jump ship, because Nigeria is a wonderful country and everybody wants to be involved with Nigeria at some point.
Well, the thing is this. So, if you look at the actual situation, um, Olympic Marseille came out and said even if they are going to hire him, it's going to be for 6 months. They are going to give him a 6 month contract. I mean, then after that 6 months elapsed, then they are going to give him another 1 year. Do you think him moving, do you think this is not a step down for him? And remember also, there's a possibility that Nigeria might be heading to the World Cup. Don't you think this would be a step down for him in terms of, yes, I understand the fact that he might be looking at the payment, the consistency in payment, and the rest of that. However, don't you think that Richel deciding to go to Olympic Marseille is a step down for him, owing to the fact that he has already gotten Nigeria to a stage whereby he's trying to build the national team, and also Nigeria might probably end up going to the World Cup via the back door. Don't you think he should wait a bit and let this issue ride out, the protest of Nigeria ride out with FIFA before deciding to make that particular move?
In football, time is everything. You understand? And considering the crisis, like I said, in Marseille, currently, some days ago, Benatia, the sporting director, stepped down. After 24 hours, he reinstated himself and said he's not stepping down. So there's a whole lot of crisis in Marseille. And if Eric goes there, he's going to also throw himself into the managerial market. If he goes there for 6 months, imagine he performs well for 6 months. He's definitely going to be among the mix to take the job permanently. You understand? Aside the interim job, but also it is the case of Nigeria is if it's still under probability. You understand? And considering the fact that he has a chance to get a go at a top European nation, a top European club, you understand? I don't think if we want to play the cards of waiting for if if you know if Nigeria will pass through the back door, if you understand, so he probably wants to work with something realistic. You understand? And if he wants to work with something realistic, I think taking the Marcel job is something very realistic. But then taking Nigeria to the World Cup is also very, very big. You understand? It's a very big project. But the thing now is he has taken the Nigeria job and it has thrown him into the limelight. So I think he will be looking for the next step in his career, the next step in his managerial career, and what he can actually do to ensure that he cements his name among the elite. Because he has been in Ligue 1 before, and that is one of the reasons why he's one of the candidates for the interim job at Marseille, because he has been in Ligue 1, he knows how the league works and every other thing. But for Nigeria, we just have to hope. We have to hope and pray, because we Nigerians, we know how to pray. So we have to hope and pray that Eric doesn't accept the job, you understand, and he takes Nigeria to the World Cup if we go to the World Cup.
Okay, so the thing is, another thing, still sticking to Nigeria. We already know that Eric Chera said, with the news coming out, the president of Olympic Marseille already told us that he's already in talks with Eric Chera and the rest of that. Who do you think the NFF is lining up to take over from Eric Chera? Because I mean, there's a possibility that Eric Chera might leave. Who do you think the NFF is looking at in terms of replacing Echel with. There is a whole lot of talks about Finidi George. Remember, Rivers United is currently on top of the Nigerian Premier League, and if Finidi George ends up winning that particular league again, it will mean that Finidi George has won the Nigerian league twice in the last 4 years, and that shows kind of quality he has. What coach do you think Nigeria should be looking at in case Echel decides to finally leave for Olympic Marseille?
To be honest with you, Nigeria knows how to go into panic mode, into chaos mode without any form of direction, any form of plan. Yes, sir. So for the fact that I'm telling you that a portion of the NFF board still believe that Eric will not take that job, and so they are not even looking forward to a successor. I'm telling you, this is the honest truth. They are not looking for a successor like this. But if we are throwing Finidi George into the mix, Finidi George has had a very tough time with the national team. His time there didn't go well. And to be honest with you, those are the same guys that are still there from his last time. So I don't think him coming back it is going to work well. So it's just for us to just look forward, look at any prospective manager that we can get inside our league. Because I think coaches like Ilechuku should be thrown into the mix, at least be given a chance, you understand, to handle this team. At least even if we just want to play 2, 3 friendlies, you understand, to see how he can arrange the guys, see what he can do. Understand? But like I said, Nigerians know how to panic. The NFF, they know how to enter panic mode. You understand? That is when they will appoint a manager now and he will say no, he's not the one, that it is his brother. So
Yeah,
just fingers crossed on the whole thing. And
you mentioned Fidelis Lechuku, and I will take you back to that. Yes, Fidelis Lechuku, won the league. I think, if I'm not mistaken, with Rangers, Enugu Rangers, if I'm not mistaken. Then there's a particular Ogumodede that won the league with Remo Stars, and Remo Stars is currently,
yeah.
Remo Stars is currently sitting, in the relegation zone in the Nigerian league at the moment. The question is this: because of the performances of those coaches, don't you think it reflects? Don't you think the local coaches, they don't have what it takes to be able to tinker our national team to where we want to get them to? Remember, Eric Chell has succeeded in building a particular standard. Do you think the local coaches, if any of them can come in, do you think they'll be able to continue with that standard? Do you think they'll be able to lace, in quotes now, the boot of Eric Chell?
Well, that's another part of it, because currently Nigeria League is not where it is supposed to be. And that is a vital truth that we are talking about in this century, this year. So for the fact that Nigeria League is not where it's supposed to be, it doesn't really throw our managers into the limelight. Like you said, Remo Stars are currently struggling and the likes. And even these coaches that we're talking about are already in the backroom staff of the um, Nigeria national team coaching setup. But like this, we are this news of Eric, you understand, heading to Marcel has thrown us into panic mode, you understand, and anybody can be a candidate at this point. But I can tell you for free that they want to get an interim manager, an interim coach, and then that is where we will all get it wrong, and then the cycle will go again. I don't really trust our Nigerian coaches from the Nigerian league, because some of them, they just set up in ways whereby they want to show that, okay, yes, I'm in Nigeria and I am in charge. I don't know if you get, there's always this energy that they bring that doesn't really match it, you understand, for the national team. And that is why you see they have issues with Nigerian based coaches. But fingers crossed, they will enter panic mode and definitely will get somebody. Hopefully the person works.
Oh, okay, that's fantastic. I'm hoping this time around it will not take 11 months. But moving ahead,
Hopefully.
moving ahead. You know, Nigeria wanted to finish what Cameroon started. Initially, when we played DR Congo, there was no protest about DR Congo feeding eligible players. However, Cameroon started the whole process talking about DR Congo side fielding an ineligible player. And remember how Cameroon lost the game was, a bit painful. They considered a goal very late, in that particular game, and they eventually lost 1-0, and that was how DR Congo got into the final. From findings, it has been, from findings, there is a law in DR Congo that you cannot hold dual citizenship. If you hold dual citizenship, you cannot represent DR Congo. However, as alleged by the protest, as alleged, because I mean, there is no verdict yet. We don't. There is no confirmation of FIFA findings yet, so we can't say authoritatively that they are guilty. So that's why we are using the word allegedly. So nobody misquotes us that some of these players, the likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Bakambu, and the rest of them, they hold dual citizenship and they are not eligible to play for DR Congo based on DR Congo laws. That's number one. Number two, as alleged, some of the players of DR Congo were not even cleared by FIFA before DR Congo decided to throw them in. Do you think, and from reports, there were reports earlier in the week that FIFA will make a decision and the rest of that. Up to now, that has not happened yet. However, there are reports that FIFA is already deliberating on the matter. And just why. Do you think Nigeria would scale through in this with this protest? Do you think Nigeria will succeed? Getting the playoff spot from DR Congo based on what has been alleged?
Yes, I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah,
Sorry, there was
yeah,
issue with the network.
yeah. So as I was saying, as alleged, do you think Nigeria will be able to take the slot from DR Congo based on the allegations?
To be honest, we just have to wait to see if it will work out, because I have a feeling that DR Congo will present evidences to back the players that they lined out, to back that yes, they were eligible for that, for the matches that they played, that they're eligible to represent DR Congo. So we just have to wait and hear the verdict of the whole thing. And as Nigerians, we have to pray. So we just have to hope that the ruling favors us, and hopefully we qualify for the World Cup.
But
So we
the
can only but wait for the.
yeah, but the question is this. I mean, if DR Congo is found out to have done what they have done, don't you think this also affects poorly on CAF? And I'll take you through some things. Remember, with our own group, there was a situation of conflict of interest. About three teams in our group played their home game in South Africa, and CAF was not able to spot this out until a whole lot of us started talking about it on social media before it became a thing. The same thing with the Mokoena situation, with the Tebo Mokoena situation, where South Africa fielded an ineligible player. Until we started talking about it, even our own NFF did not catch it. So don't you think this reflects poorly on CAF? Because I mean, this happened under the jurisdiction of CAF. CAF should have been able to spot this out. And also remember, the same DR Congo side, the same people that we are complaining about that are supposed to be ineligible to play for DR Congo, went to the last concluded Nations Cup and they played for DR Congo. Don't you think this reflects poorly on CAF?
Yes, it just shows how far they've come. That's just the bitter truth of it. It just shows how far they've come, and I think it is high time that they sit up to ensure that documentations are done properly, their background checks are done properly. Mistakes like this can't keep on happening. We cannot keep on turning a blind eye to things like this, because I know when we have tournaments like that, every team lists out their players, everything sends the list of their squad to CAF. You understand, to verify the players in case of anybody being suspended. In case of, you understand. So, and each and every country has their football federation. So even in as much as we want to talk about CAF, let's also talk about each of those countries' football federation. They should be able to do better. You understand, in terms of documenting their players, in terms of ensuring that they line eligible players just for fair play. You understand? And then after taking it from each country's football federations, then we take it to CAF, because CAF is the organ of everybody. So you have to ensure that, okay, even if there are some slips in the background, you as a governing body of the whole of Africa, you should be able to detect some of these slips, and it shouldn't be on social media. Ordinary citizens shouldn't be the one noting it out and sending it to social media for CAF to make their research. It is not done. So it just shows us that a whole lot of work have to be done on each and every country's football federation for fair play, for the love of the game, and also CAF also needs to work better to ensure that things like this don't repeat themselves in forthcoming tournaments.
Okay, and
Because something like this cannot happen. Something like this cannot happen in the World Cup. Let's be honest with ourselves.
True. True.
These football federations cannot make these mistakes in the World Cup. So why are they making that mistake? Why are they making the mistakes in Africa? They should be fair play. So I guess CAF should ensure that there is fair play in every
Uh,
of it.
okay.